you can watch about it, but it's mostly about the novels and the books for this thing. It's like a dark fantasy, horror, futuristic military porn, I would say. It's like a super over the top, very extreme, like in the terms of, let's say, I don't know, for a 40K book, it would be normal when you're talking about like a battle between factions in the game to have like billions dead within the first weeks of the fight, because it's always super crazy and they go like really hard in the details of the carnage. So to me, that stuff is like right in my alley. I like dark shit, evil stuff, Spawn. That's why I collect the figures of the guy. Lord of the Rings, but 40K is its own monster. It's its own thing. I mean, if you ever manage to like even read like a little wiki article when you're bored, you're gonna realize that you now want to read more about that because it's impossible just to stop. And is this thing about in the future? It's called 40K because it happens in the year 40,000. Humanity at that point pretty much have forgotten where they come from, who they are, how they came to be where they are. Is this like a really shitty existence to be a member of the Imperium, something like that. But it is what it is. But yeah, what I love is the designs, so the way the fact that there are military figures to army build. It's pretty great. I mean, you get the lieutenants, you get the sergeants, commanders, stuff like that. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm army building the Ultramarines, which I'm planning to build a company, and companies are composed of 100 Marines. So yeah, I got 22 already.
No, that's cool. They look really cool. Like I said, I don't have any. I'm not very familiar. I've seen obviously Warhammer. I was able to figure out what they are, but I understand the whole like concept behind it. Future. Humanity forgot. But I mean, it's 2023 and humanity's already forgotten how to be human anyway. So it's not too far off in the distance,
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's pretty
right?
realistic
So
in that sense that, for example, um what example can I give you? When the Imperium started, it was supposed to be this anti-religion thing that the Emperor tried to build. But in the end, 10,000 years later, after all the plot and shit that has to take place, the Imperium is now this ultra-religious regime in which now the Emperor is a god beloved by humanity. So it's like even though it's called Warhammer and war and stuff, if you ever read a book about this, it's the biggest anti-war propaganda ever made. Stuff like
okay,
that.
yeah, and I
Because
like that kind of stuff in a sense, right? So,
and the other thing, if you ever get into Warhammer, like for
mhm.
real, like into the lore, it kind of ruins everything else for you. You'll
Okay,
never be able to go back to Star Wars or other
no,
universes because they feel so childlike, they feel so innocent, they feel
hmm
so cute sometimes, and the Force, and we're gonna fight the bad guys with our buddies in the rebellion, and Warhammer that doesn't exist because there are no
no,
good guys. They're
no.
all bad guys. That's the other thing. All factions are evil. No faction
Yeah,
is good. They're all
well, that's
realistic like
fun.
that. Yeah, but
That's
let's move
fun.
away
See,
from Warhammer because, as I told you, if I start talking about it,
yeah,
I'm
no,
not going to
I
be
hear
able to.
you. I
I'm
love it
not
though
going to
because
be able to stop.
no, it's cool though. It gives me a very and I love Spawn, right? Like I grew up with Spawn, so obviously like it's a darker like it's an existence and thing as well, realm as well. But I think it would go hand in hand because if I like Spawn, I think Warhammer would be rather similar in the sense and the idea of what the concept is, right? Like it's more evil than it is good, right? So,
Yeah, you're right. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I see it like that sometimes. But Mother Evil, I would say, is like more, even though it's fantasy shit, like
mhm.
it's
Yeah,
it's all
right.
it's all it's all it's all fiction, but it has that realism that I enjoy. I don't know if you have ever read Spawn, for instance.
Oh yeah. I have some comic books here. Trust me, I got some OG ones here. Yes.
Do you remember that character called Billy Kincaid,
Yep.
the ice cream dude?
Yep.
That whole arc to me was like, damn, that's so dark. But
Right.
that's the world, right? That Todd McFarlane. I love Todd McFarlane.
I know. As much as people rip on him and stuff too, he had bangers and he has done some banging things. And no matter what we say and what we might say about some of his figures, Spawn was always, there was so much banging stuff about Spawn, right, with Todd. So,
Yeah.
no, as much as we rip on him, yeah, I hear you. I agree. So, somebody's asking to show the faith to the Emperor. Look at that. I guess you're talking shit about Star Wars and they're like, show some faith.
Yeah, I mean that's something common in the 40K community to take jabs at Star Wars, but it's all fun and games. I like Star Wars. I mean, I don't watch it now. I
No.
don't consume it now. I like the novels. General Thrawn, one of my favorite Star Wars characters, because he's a villain, and I like villains. But 40K is different. You cannot compare them because Star Wars, even though Star Wars, is this big thing and whatever, it has this huge fandom behind. I'm sure it's bigger than 40K because 40K is like this niche thing that no one really knows about. I mean, no one even knows within the Warhammer community that there are Warhammer shows right now that you can watch if you download the Warhammer Plus app. I mean, the Warhammer TV. Because the people over the Games Workshop that somehow make Warhammer, they have this thing that they keep their product like crazy. They try to keep it as little known possible because the books are a little. I think there were some articles about it like last year. Some people that discovered 40K recently, and they were like, "Yo, dude, what is this fascism porn thing that I'm reading here? It's not supposed to be that, but." So it's not for everyone, I can say.
No, I've looked at a little bit because, like, I'm curious, and curiosity kills the cat, or the cat keeps, whatever. So, of course, I know, but no, just in general, the figures look great. So, thank you for giving me a little rundown on Warhammer because honestly, I've just seen like there's a game,
literally, I covered nothing.
Well, I mean, covered enough for me to understand at least the concept, right? So I'm sure you could go on for hours and hours and hours, but like by then I'm like, I can't even understand where this is going.
I'm sure the boys that are watching, they can tell you that when I start talking about Warhammer Deadman, where are the lads? Shout out to Deadman, shout out to everyone, Tor Rebels.
Of course. So some people in the house, of course, saying hello to everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Super happy to have you here. Much appreciated. So we're just talking Warhammer if you're just joining us a little bit. Again, me not knowing a damn thing about Warhammer, so a rundown was much appreciated. But I'm going to go over to the Instagram. But I love the Spawn photo over here, so I'm hopping over to Instagram. Sorry, guys, I'm on two screens at one time right now. So.
By the way, shout out to Tripping with Toys, to Mudo, to Roger, anime figure collector in the chat.
I know. Shout out to all the boys.
My buddy Roger.
Yeah, Roger's cool. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. All right. So we're on Instagram now. So everybody, this is JP's page. If you haven't followed him already, his Instagram handle is up at the top here. Boom, boom, boom. Since apparently Vanna White cannot be seen on the screen. Of course, a little rundown. We are the Toy Rebels, of course, Toy Mercs, Toy Photographer Collective, some hashtags we're using, some groups and communities that we are supporting, of course. And beautiful photos. So I had the opportunity to go a little further than I usually do on pages. But obviously the first thing I saw was Spawn. So I love Spawn. I don't think I have this Spawn figure yet. This is Commando, I believe.
Yeah, that one is that's the huge statue.
I don't have that one yet. I was just looking at my shelf. I'm like, he's missing right now.
Where I put that thing? I'm sure I have it here somewhere. I have both. I have got the statue and the piggy somewhere around here, but I don't seem to find it right now. It must be somewhere around my room. I mean,
no worries. Trust me, I know all about not being able to find toys. They're either on the floor or they're in another room. So
I got so much figures right now, and I'm a dumbass. I should have bought like a shelf a while ago, but instead of doing that, I keep buying more figures, and now I can even display them in my room. I have to keep them in their boxes because I got nowhere to put them.
Really, eh? Shelves are, I find, a must now. However, I'm personally thinking about getting rid of my shelves and trying to do something on the walls instead. Because I feel like the shelves take up too much real estate sometimes. You know what I mean? It takes a little bit from the room. So I like to display stuff. But I also have times where I'm like, I might as well just pile them in a box because they're literally laying on the floor, not doing anything. They're literally just laying there. Yeah. So with your photography, do you use a DSLR or are you a camera or a cell phone
I just use my
photographer?
phone.
You use your
I
phone?
mean, I don't consider myself a photographer at all because
Nope.
I just started maybe
Yeah.
less than a year ago to really take it seriously. And I've been watching like a bunch of tutorials, talking to guys here in the community too. As I
Mhm.
was mentioning to you, the Moss Toy Box Show, those guys are pretty good at it. Then I got my friend Leo from the Toy Rebels, who is like an actual photographer too. He also has told me like a bunch of shit about photography proper. And then when you
Mhm.
meet people around the community by itself, you will always bump into someone who, says, hey, you know what? You should have done this. You should have done that. Oh, there's this thing you can do. Something like that.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of help and willingness to help. Then you'll get a few ass hats here and there, but where they're like, "Oh, you should." I'm like, "Listen, thank you, but like, no thanks." But for the most part, everyone's pretty good, and they're very willing to learn and teach. Right. So, all the toy photography I've ever done, and again, I don't do as much as I'd like to. I'm gonna hopefully do some more this summer, but everything that I do know is from the community in itself. Like I had no business taking pictures of toys, and then I just started following toy photography accounts, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks cool. Maybe I could do that." Or right, and then I just kind of went with it. So, and then I started having people within the communities, following, and we were supporting each other. And those night tags were always great. I was up every night at 11 o'clock, making sure I got those tags, those sessions, right?
Yeah.
So very like on the
Yeah,
books,
I feel you. I
right?
feel you. I know what that is all about. It's
On those
sometimes,
sessions,
sometimes it get
right?
a little hard to do.
Yeah, but those people within those sessions and those communities were always the first to share their love or give you some kind of comment on your photo. So that's what I like about this community is not only do they share their expertise or they don't even have to be expert, they share some knowledge with people, but they also are willing to support you along the way, right? Like they're not just
Mm.
taking it all for themselves like some people do, right?
Yeah, some guys are like that, but I respect that too because I
Mhm.
mean, I'm the kind of guy that I don't really care if someone is like mean to me or harsh to me because I don't take myself seriously to begin with.
Mhm.
So, and then again, I also can understand where they're coming from because some people do the toy photography not only because they like the hobby, but because they're trying to get somewhere. They're maybe trying to get to do photography for a company or get a sponsor from a toy manufacturer, whatever.
Yep.
So there are guys here that I've met
They're
that
super serious.
yeah, they're like sharks.
Yep.
They don't want to. They don't want to
No.
have nothing to do with you. But that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Do you just meet other people in the community that do, right? Just move along to the next, right? So, and somewhere along the line, you'll get the information you're getting looking for, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no. So this is a Warhammer figure. I think this is a super cool photo.
Thank
I
you.
not very good. I'm not good at Photoshop at all. Like I can do like your basic overlays and stuff like that, but like do you have a background set up for this? Is this like mostly you did post edit or do you set up somewhere, like do you have like a little area you do shoots? How do you go about getting your photography to where it is right now?
I can show it to you. Hold on.
Yeah,
Give
no
me a
worries.
second. Um, I don't. I don't. Most of the stuff I do is digital, but I'm trying
Okay,
to get to the more physical stuff over time as I get more tools to do this.
of
But
course.
all I use is this little thing. I mean, I don't know how I can turn my camera around, so I'm just gonna turn my
No
phone around.
worries. No judgments
Yeah,
here
but
over on this
that that
section.
that piece of black cloth, and
That's
then I put
it.
the figures on that table I got here, and that's
That's
it.
it,
That's all I
eh?
use.
No
Yeah,
worries.
that's
Y-
all I use. I don't do
That
the whole fancy stuff, though I want to.
I know I do too. Don't worry about it. Like it's funny. I have 3 desks in my house. They're all supposed to be used so I could do like toy photography or like and they're always full of everything else, but so I can't ever use them. But it's the same thing. I used to have like 2 black pieces of cardboard, right? Because they're black. You can do anything as long as it's black or white. Black and white, dollar store, like cardboard, right? And that's all I would shoot on. And then I started getting a little more creative where I go buy fabrics and stuff like that. So, right, no, I don't have space either. I wish I had like a whole studio set up. I see some of these beautiful dioramas, right? I'm like, I can't keep mine set up for more than 5 minutes because I need the space for other things, right? So no, I totally understand what you're saying. And that simple stuff like a black cloth is just as well to do anything, especially if you're editing afterwards, right? So
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I grab
yeah.
the picture, and then I do the whole remove the background stuff.
Mhm.
By the way, if I'm looking all the time looking up, it's because I got my computer screen here and I'm watching the live here also.
You don't have to tell us what you're doing at all over there. You're talking to us. We're cool with that. I mean, keep it PG. That's all we say on this channel.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no. What I mean is that just because I'm looking up all the time, it might be weird.
It's all good.
But, no, yeah, but because on the phone it's like this super tiny screen, so I can really see.
For sure. No, I know.
Yeah,
And I'm the same way because I'm looking at a screen here and I'm looking at the phone talking to you. So I know exactly what you're saying, right?
yeah.
Right. So no, I was going through some of these photos, even the photos that you sent me for the promo, like they're so good.
Thank
Like,
you.
are you self-taught? Or this is stuff that you've absorbed from the community, or is this you had some knowledge of some of this prior to?
It could be like a little of everything because when I started, I did this really the picture of which is just my toy and maybe like a cardboard box in the background, not thought into the whole shot, nothing, just the picture, and then internet, let's go. And then over time, I started to follow because I started collecting these guys. Let me grab one. The Kamen Rider figures because I love the show, and I started to follow these crazy Japanese dudes that do insane toy photography, and I was like, damn! Now I feel like I'm posting little crap. So I pretty much started to watch what they were doing. I pretty much analyzed their pictures. And I realized that, hey, these guys are pretty much doing something that I can do because I used to draw a lot digitally. I used to do the whole thing. Hey, dead man, go G. Sorry, sorry guys in the chat about.
Oh, yeah.
So then I downloaded like a really basic free program that I use, and started to mess around with that because I use these things of the digital tablets to draw.
Mhm.
So when I do toy photography, to me, it's rather than doing a photo, I'm pretty much drawing a picture. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I know exactly. It's like tattooing, right? Like
Yeah.
when they do it on the digital to create. No, it's exactly the same thing. I understand exactly what you're saying. A lot of people use the digital art tablets for tattooing now, right?
Sorry, I had to do it because Big City like
You're
rugging the toy
no
judgment. Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. Like I said, it's pretty chill here over on this sector. It's all about just a friendly conversation and meeting new friends and faces and the community and learning about them, right? So, yeah, if you want to shout out anybody, you want to give some people the finger, I'm all for it, right?
No, I'm not going to give the finger to no one. I love the boys. Everyone in the chat, Goji, Muto, Roger, Big Peaks.
Yeah, got quite a few. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm under the weather, as I mentioned in my live, but we don't skip episodes here unless someone drops dead. So, right, there's my little there, but thank you for being here. It's much appreciated. And of course, if you're catching us on the replay, thank you so much for that as well. Not everyone can be here today, and we totally understand that. So, thank you. Right?
Yeah, no, and some people don't know it, but this was in the making like months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I started the channel in March, so the beginning of March. So yeah, and then a few things happened and whatnot, and then just some rearrangements. But thank you for bearing with us, and we found a date that worked for both of us. So that's cool, right?
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's been a blast. So, and it's always great because like it's the same time there too, which is weird. I think you're an hour ahead. I think you're living in the future over there.
Here it is. It's 19:20 p.m.
Oh, it's the same time in Chile right now. That's so crazy. That's mind-boggling. That
Yeah.
blows my mind. Everybody, when I have these shows in America, they're always like 3 hours behind, right? So I'm always like, it's like 4 o'clock there, and like we're doing it at like 7 or 8. I'm rushing them, right? So I don't feel so bad when we're in the same time zone. So thank you for
Mm.
taking your time.
By the way, something I can tell you about that picture you got there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, is that all my photos, the background dudes that you can like see them in other shots too, they're all actual figures that I have.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
ask. You own all these
the
figures.
the way that I discovered to make the photos don't look like as fakey as I used to make
Mhm.
them before when I used to. The problem with doing digital photography, at least for me, is that when you are doing like, for instance, this one, and you got this Marine standing, like sending orders, whatever. Uh, Looking for a background that's going to match the idea you want to do here or the
Mhm.
figure and the colors of the lighting I put on him, it's going to be so hard that either way you're going to ruin the photo or it's not going to look good and you're going to have to blur it a bit. So what I've been doing lately, I joined this what's it? It's Novel AI. It's a site for
Okay.
writers, but it also you can make art in that stuff. So what I've been doing recently is I take the shot of my figures with the colors that I need, for instance, with these Ulanzi lights, and then I take the full shot and I put it in the machine and I prompt to it that, hey, I want a picture that use this as a base, but give me like ruins, darkness, night, pillars, colors, stuff like that, and then the AI will make a background that actually matches your pictures because it uses the original photo to create a background. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I mean,
Yeah.
go to the other one, see if you can, so I can give you like another example of
Yeah. Of
that.
course. Sorry, bear with me a
There's a
second.
sorry, man. I didn't mean to like, hey, go to the no,
No, no, no. It's totally fine.
no.
That's what I'm here for. That's exactly what we're here to do.
There's
So
a Doctor Doom photo I have somewhere over there where he's holding like a skull.
you'll have to forgive
Should
me.
be no,
Like
no, it's so good.
I don't know. Oh, right here.
Yeah, that one. If that one, the original photo is literally the hand of Doctor Doom holding
Mhm.
the little plastic skull that comes with Apocalypse from Marvel Legends.
Yep.
And I just put that into the machine, and then I asked it to draw me a castle and the moon, and that's all I did. So that's why the background it kind of matches. But now that this happens to me a lot, and when I post a photo, I like it, but then I go back to it and I go like, man, I could have done this the other way around. Now I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, I understand that. I've done that a time or two. I'm like, "Ooh," and people have loved the photo, but I'm like, oh, I could have changed something right there. No, I get
Hmm.
that, right? Like, no, I like it. It's cool. I've actually heard about some of these new programs where you can just do that. So that's neat that's the end result of that. I find myself spending countless hours trying to, like, if I'm going to do it digitally instead of doing like a backdrop, I looking for something. And even when you start putting it together, you get it all done. You're like, no, it just doesn't, it's not smooth. It's not, doesn't flow together. Right. So this looks very flowing together. So good job on
Yeah,
that. I
that's
like
what I
that
mean.
picture.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to get with
Mhm.
my photos. That at least I wanted the background to make sense. If you go to the first ones,
Mhm.
I think the most recent pictures I have, there's one that I mean I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but
No,
one of
no.
my favorite shots I made recently. Go down a bit. The one below that one where there's the two dudes. Yeah, the purple one. That one.
Mhm.
That one has to be the picture I like the most that I've done so far just because of how the background looks and the figgies, and all this stuff. They really made me feel like, damn, they are actually like walking and talking to each other or something. I was really,
Like you're
really glad
there.
with the way that one came out. Sorry, guys, my
Yeah.
English a little bit.
No. Hey, I speak proper English and it's not proper English though.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
speak fluent English, right? So, right? It's not proper at all, but no, totally. No, it's a cool photo, and I see what you're saying. Like, it looks like I'm standing right there taking this shot, right? It's very fluid, which is nice. So, I wish I had thought about this kind of stuff many moons ago, right?
yeah. But the way I mention it is
Mhm.
because you guys can use it. Like you don't need
Of
to.
course.
But
Right.
by the way, what my plans are right now is to get like a proper not 3D printer like but a digital printer to print like paper stuff, but with quality photo, film
Yep,
paper, stuff like that.
of course.
And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the AI to build my own diodes in the style of the extreme sets. Like pretty much
Okay.
I can ask the AI to make me, I don't know, build me a cafe wall that I
Yep,
can print, and it will just give you a photo of it. I can print that stuff, cut it out, and then I can start to make my own diodes,
of
which is what I
course.
want to do.
Oh yeah, and it's fun. I don't know about doing like the printouts, but I've done it with the foam boards. It's fun,
Yeah,
but it can be
those I
nerve
want to get too
wracking.
into. Yeah,
Yeah,
the phone
right.
stuff, the what seems to be the most fun, you
The
know?
foam. Yeah,
Yeah, to
I
paint
find.
it, do all the stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to do a new dio because it's been requested. And like I'm not a dio person, but I made a couple like rock sceneries that like it actually was like, oh dang, like it's really good. But somebody asked me to do like a wall where it's like punch through wall, right? So I'm gonna attempt to do that with foam board next. But it's very fun because even if you screw up, you can just paint the pieces up a different color, cut it into pieces, and use it for rocks or right. So it's very versatile if you screw up, right? So, or you
Yeah,
want
and
to
now
change
that
something in
we're
the
talking
long run. So.
diodes, I'm gonna do the Dead Man,
Mhm.
huge into that stuff. Eddie figures that I see here in the chat also, FigPix 2, I believe. They're really into making. Eddie recently started like a new page. Forget the name. Sorry, brother, I can't mention it right now. But he's pretty much making this whole kingdom for, I
Yeah.
think it's Mythic Legions. I could be wrong, but stuff
Oh,
like that. So
Mystic
yeah,
Legions, anything is cool. And
these
of
guys
course,
are
we have
pretty
a
much.
worthy addiction in
Yeah,
the house. Of course, new episode coming out tomorrow. I think it is. I think it's tomorrow. Everybody's got to. No, it's actually on Thursday. I'm wrong. I'm thinking it's Wednesday already. Of course, that is Toy Addict and Unworthy Collector over there. Evening, fellas. I hope you're all doing well. Evening, everybody in the chat. Of course, just some comments there up on the screen for you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Fig picks, no worries. Having your brother on the show, very appreciative. like we
yeah,
mentioned, it was long planned prior to just some scheduling conflicts until now. So no, it's great to have everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, yep, gotta throw out the Thursday 9 p.m. Everybody, a worthy addiction. We get to see two of the boys talk some toys. How about that?
that's right.
I know, and I wasn't even trying. So
Mhm.
that's the best part when you're not even trying. It just goes so fluid. I
Yeah,
love it. So in Chile, because you're in Chile, correct? Do
yeah,
you like I see here on your page you have this all these boxes of
yeah. My joy toy,
your
bro.
joy toy haul that you got here. Now, is this something that you have to order? Is this something that is locally available to you that you can just go out to stores and start picking up
Uh,
these things?
I mean, I mentioned toy marks. Don't forget the TA Black West. Yeah, right. But let me. Oh fuck! I need to stop watching the chat. Yeah. Uh, the thing is that here in my country, you can get pretty much, the regular stuff. I'm talking about McFarlane, Marvel Legends, your NECAs here and there over the, some toy stores that have pages on Instagram. But when it comes to the Joy Toy shit, like the real toys, I'm talking about Mayfix. I'm talking about what else? Mascos. I mean, not that Joy Toy is on that alley of detailed figures. These guys, for what I've been told by Americans or people over there, is that these dudes are pretty pricey over there. They can be like
Okay.
a $45 to $50 figure each. And
Oh
I've been
yeah.
army building these. I got, like, as I told you, Chaos. I got like by now 6 of these guys. I got 22 Ultramarines. Now I got the 4 Raven Guard, and I need to keep more and more because here in my country, these guys are not that pricey to me. You can get like 4 of these for
Okay.
like $80, shit like
Oh,
that.
so here's an example of what this is America's prices. Oh, I was looking at some of that big bad toy store because where
Mm-hmm.
else would I look? I don't order from here, but yeah, you're getting things that are like
60.
$65
Oh, hold
here,
on, dude. That figure,
$60.
the first one right there, the Chaplain that they
Yep.
just announced. That's a pre-order. I already
This
pre-ordered that one. I
yeah, like
pre-ordered
these
it
are
for I pre-ordered
they're
for 35.
they're badass though, but like this is literally what we're spending here. So this is American. So I pay Canadian, which is a little bit more than that. So I'm not even going to do the conversion of that. But this is
Crazy.
literally, it's so crazy to hear that you're able to get like 4 for the same price as one. You know what I mean? Like 3 or 4, right? Because usually it's the flip, right? Where it's more expensive the more international you are. So it's
Yeah.
insanely mind boggling. Right? But
The
they're
reason
very
that is, I mean, for me, it's easier to get the Joy Toy because my country has this, Chile has this, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a government shit thing with
some,
China. We don't pay for, we don't pay for any kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Import tax, shit like that.
tax. Okay, yeah.
None at all.
No, that's
So
good.
Chilean goods, when they go to China, they buy straight from the producer, and we do the same with them. So when I ordered these things for me,
Mm-hmm.
this figure right here, this guy, it was $25 with free shipping.
That's crazy. And that would cost us like $100 all in here, right? That's the figure and shipping, right? That's insane though. That's
Yeah, probably.
good
So
for
that's why
you.
I compared to the McFarlanes. Don't get me wrong, I love McFarlane figures.
Mm-hmm.
This is my Deathstroke.
Yeah, he's cool. I
Uh,
love that stroke.
yeah, look at this dude. I mean, come on.
I know my McFarlanes are just a little bit too out of reach. The Marvel's right there. Everything else is right there.
Yeah, slowly I dropped Marvel Legends because I'm done with that stuff. I mean, I don't want to shit talk Marvel Legend collectors or anything like that, but
No.
I like the McFarlanes because they look more edgy. They're more my style. They're mostly like
Mhm.
I collect most of the villains. To be honest, you know, this guy got the, and I'm collecting the spawns, which is the main line with the one I started
I
to
love the
begin with.
clown. I could see
Yeah,
him over there. So I
I
actually
have.
have him
Mhm.
and whoop, with him and without knocking over my entire house. So because I got the OG one too. So I like that guy too. I got the big guy
Yep,
and
and I started
the
collecting spawn actually. That's the way I
old one.
began.
Look how old that guy is. That's like
Oh
the
yeah.
original one.
Those are the coolest.
Right?
The
Like
old
this is
ones.
like OG McFarlane, brand
Yeah.
new McFarlane,
Is that the one
right?
from the movie?
Pardon?
Was that the one from the movie?
Yeah. So he's like badass though, right? His
Yeah.
hair is all gone, right? So, but I was like, whatever. But we got his hair here. So,
Yeah,
but
back
they're
in the day
cool.
when McFarlane used to use soft goods and hair on their figure and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
right. I know it. They don't do that anymore, which is like,
Yeah, people
right.
complain, but you have to take in consideration that I think I
Mhm.
talked about this when in one of the lives of, with the boys, but it was like a people forget McFarlane went through 3 different eras of making figures. At first, it was, you know, the toy stuff, which
Yep,
were more like kid toys. You know, they were more like in the area of wonky articulation. You know, looking toys. You know,
absolutely.
proper toys. But then McFarlane went into the second era of their company, which is pretty much all statues. All statues. They weren't
Hmm.
really action figures. They are more
No.
statues, soft goods, chains, crazy detail, dark evil, that stuff. And people kind of were hooked on that, but those are not action figures. And then we got now the current era of McFarlane, which is these guys. You know, you got now proper articulation. Let me get that spawn one too, so it's more. Yeah, for instance, this one, the one from the Mortal Kombat game. This is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. McFarlane is still pretty wonky when it comes to articulation. They don't have thigh swivel, which is like a little lame. But McFarlane said on an interview he doesn't believe in thigh articulation for some reason,
Hmm.
whatever that means.
I guess I got no real comment that might not keep it PG, so I'll leave it alone. But
But
I
yeah,
don't know what his
so
problem is, but no, I
so
totally
the thing.
understand. Like, um, because I have older Spawn figures, and I remember, like for example, I used to collect the random like Tiffany the Amazon part of the Spawn like collections, right? Like those weird obscure characters. But they
Mm-hmm.
had their hit and misses back then when they're this old, like with the soft goods, like their hair would break off, right? Like it's just crap. But now I don't have many problems. The only problem I've had so far with McFarlane toys in the new era of Todd McFarlane toys is my Joker from the Mortal Kombat came with 2 left hands. And I was like, well, someone was
Oh,
asleep there.
yeah,
Right?
that's bound to happen. I mean, McFarlane Q and C, it's not the best.
Yeah. Right.
I got a funny
That's the only
story.
issue I've had though. Otherwise, I mean, as for paint and stuff, I'm not very finicky about that stuff. Right. I mean, if it's awful and the left eye is painted over here, when obviously, you know what I mean, that's different. But like a little smudge here, a little speckle here. No, it's McFarlane is a very large part of the toy collection here. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, when I got this guy, the Omega Spawn,
Yeah, he's crazy. I don't have him yet. So
I have them all. I'm missing like the new ones. I still need to get the new ones, but I have all the others. And when this guy arrived, I was so happy because he's huge, like this
he's big.
massive figure. I love him. And when I opened the box, I'm not even joking. I think it's this arm or the other one, or this one. I just moved it like a little, and it broke. And I was
Oh
like,
no.
and the peg broke, so I had to use my Dremel, and now it has like a little metal rod that connects the hand to the peg.
But it'll
Peg
never
rod.
fall off again, though, right? So now it is secure for life, right?
Yeah, that's not the point of the figures.
No, I
They should-
love that though. Like, there's always something, but we still spend our money on that figure, right? Because for the price point too, we really have no true reason to complain. Those are so cool. So, I know that anime has been like always post these like figures. So I saw some. I think they're U2s. Is that what they're called? They're called different ones. There's a whole bunch of different names for these things. What is
Mhm.
what is the name of that one that you collect? What is that
These
one called?
these girls, they're from the show Ruby. It's an American show that I like.
Okay.
But these are made by Good Smile Company.
Okay. Okay. That's what I was like. I've seen these figures, but I don't think they're the ones I'm thinking of. So
No, I mean Roger has a few of these. I think maybe one or two. Roger collects the Van Presto stuff.
yeah, he's got some cool stuff. I'm
It's
like,
crazy. Shout out to
I'm
Roger.
not huge anime stuff, but like it's very cool and pleasant to look at, right? Like all those figures there's nothing that I look at and it doesn't bring me some kind of joy, right? I'm like, oh, that's really cool, right? So, and if a figure doesn't bring me joy, I'm sure it's the same for you. Like, what's its purpose, right? What's its
Yeah,
purpose?
of course, of
No, for
course.
sure. So,
I mean, sorry.
go
What?
ahead. I was
Oh,
just going to ask because you were saying that these toys, you own all these toys that are in these photos. They're all
yeah,
your toys.
they're all
Yeah.
a part of my collection. I
Isn't
don't
that
buy
crazy?
stuff unless I like it and I keep them
Mhm.
around because that's the whole point, right?
No, of course. Like, why waste your money? And roughly, how many figs do you think you have? Roughly. I don't. I know it's a tough question even for me. I'm like, don't
Damn.
even.
I mean, I don't know because even though I mean, I can show you a bit. Hold on. It's all a mess here. But here's my McFarlanes. I don't know if you can see them properly. They're all like laying around, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Here's like
Okay,
here's my
that's a
Kamen
big boy.
Riders. Also, it's all dusty because I haven't cleaned the shell. As soon as
That's
they fell to
okay.
the ground, I need to pick them up.
I love
But
the Cygors. Those are so badass. I got both. I have the OG one and this new Cygor one. It's a
here's the
badass
other
monkey.
part of the room that's my mess of toys that I need to put somewhere. Mostly my Marvel Legends that I need to get rid of. I'm gonna be
Yep.
selling this to get more Joy toys. I bought this guy and I literally never done any picture with the High Evolutionary now that I see him.
All right.
But yeah, that's here's another box full of full of Marvel Legends too. But yeah,
But yeah,
when I
toys
buy
everywhere.
when I buy toys, pretty much the idea I have behind it is that what kind of shots I can make with this dude, stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. That's how I used to. Now it's like when I go buy stuff for photography, I'm like, what can I use to incorporate with, right? So, good evening, Blitz Figs. Thank you for tuning in as usual, our friend, of course. And we got Green Geek on the channel this evening. Thanks so much for stopping by, guys. As always, it is appreciated. And I can't speak English today, so forgive me. It's just how the cookie crumbles. Right? Yeah, no, I understand the toy thing all too well. I presently am working on a basket of random toys I found on the floor and like, you know, effects for toys. They're just randomly laying around the house. So I have a bin and now I have to return them to the rightful spots. So that's my life every day. I also have a 6-year-old at home. I don't know if you have kids, but my
No,
son is constantly in my toy room, constantly taking toys. So it's literally just a scavenger hunt every day for random figs and like things that
I
go
get it.
with
I
them,
get it.
right? But it's fun, right? So, and that's all that
Mhm.
matters.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
The other thing I wanted to talk about is like I
sure.
think I saw a comment from Fig Pics. It said to show my love for Kamen Rider. I can do that, brother.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna just grab one. These guys. I don't know if you know what Kamen Rider is.
I don't actually. So yeah, that's
Uh,
cool.
the Karate Bugman. The
Oh,
best.
it looks. They look like the sectors, but like a more of
Yeah, and you're not wrong because they're like
yeah.
right in
They
that
like
alley.
I
This
like this. It legitimately looks like this guy, but a little more like armor on him. It like
the,
legitimately.
the best way I can describe what these guys are to you is that you know how Power Rangers they are the adaptation of an American show called Super
Yeah.
Sentai, right? And even then, when if you ever watch Super Sentai is very different than Power Rangers. It's a little bit more serious, but still pretty much for kids. But the
Okay.
Japanese people, they're kind of weird in the sense that I mean, if you watch animes look pretty innocent and cutesy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you watch the show and it's this
And
horrible
it's not
story about
so much. Yeah.
yeah. So the Super Sentai or the Power Rangers in Japan, it's pretty much kind of the same. I mean, characters die, shit like that. But Kamen Rider is like the edgy brother of Super Sentai, in the sense
No,
that
it's
Kamen Rider
crazy.
is more of a show about lone heroes. It's always about one guy. It's pretty much a staple of the franchise that all Kamen Riders, their powers come in one way or another from their enemies, or they
Mhm.
were a member of their enemies, shit like that.
Yeah.
There's a season called Kamen Rider Decade. I have him right here. This guy, which is pretty much an entire Kamen Rider season on which the
Oh, that's
main
cool.
character is a villain. This guy.
That that guy looks really cool, actually. I'm gonna have to look
Yeah.
into these figures. Like they look like a futuristic sector. Like
Yeah,
those are
something like that,
crazy.
right?
Like it's insane. I love that. It's very neon too, which is nice. Very bright. The camera
Yeah.
picks up very nicely.
You can either way spend a big buck in getting the SHF figure arts of these guys, which is
Hmm.
probably Big Pigs have those, Eddie has those, and I'm pretty
Hmm.
much forgetting someone else, I'm sure. Um, but these ones I have right here are these ones called figure art standard, and they're a little bit more cheap. And there are these like Gundam kits, but you get to build
Okay,
a Kamen Rider, and they're fully articulated figures. They come with crazy accessories, like I think 10 pairs of hands, shit like that.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I got another. This one is the most recent one I have is this guy, and I don't have them in the rider shelf because it's too big because of his wings. I don't know if you can see it there.
Oh yeah, I have you on the solo screen, so that's all we can see. Hopefully. Oh, that's really cool. That looks really. I wouldn't even know where to put that on my shelf. I'd feel like it would take a lot of space. Right?
Yeah, just keep it here with you. Oh shit! I almost throw it in the ground, and they're super delicate, so
Oh, I
you need to
believe
be
those
careful.
wings looked very fragile in themselves. That's something I
Yeah,
don't know.
because since these guys are supposed to be Gundam models, they're not really to be messing around, posing them all the time.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
try to leave them be because I broke one the other day and it kind of sucks.
Oh,
These guys are like $40,
okay.
even $35 sometimes you can find them. They're pretty cheap compared to the Tamashi Nation stuff, which is normally, 80, $90 sometimes.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was actually having a conversation because my boss and I both are toy collectors and resellers and like we both do that kind of stuff. And I was like, isn't it like insane the amount of money people will spend to have these figures? Right? $80, right?
Yeah.
And if you break something, you're just like heartbroken because I've done it, right? So
Oh,
like
yeah. I mean,
heartbroken.
uh, as I always say, I collect figgies to skip my feelings. Am I right?
Right? Shove those feelings down, you're back in there, right?
Yeah.
Right? No, I hear
Besides,
you, man.
I don't have kids or stuff like that, so I pretty
Yeah,
much can go wild. I mean, most of the
that's
guys
right.
here I talk to, they are parents, so yeah, they have to pretty much keep their budget, shit like that.
Oh
It's
no, we don't do that
understandable.
here. We buy what we want, but we do it in a way that it right. Like we do it in a way that works for us, right? So no, it's there's budgeting, but it's just budgeting in a different way.
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
No, I found when
uh,
I had my son, it gave me a reason to buy even more toys. I'm
a
just
funny
saying that.
story that
Even
I was
more. So, I think
that
they're
I was
lying when they say they're budgeting. They should be buying more now, right? So,
yeah, of
I don't,
course.
instantly, I think my toy bill tripled when I had a kid. Like, yeah, it's not. It's just for me, right? No, it's not. Never just for
Yeah,
me.
now that you mention that's kind of true, right? I mean, if I had a kid, I would probably use my kid as an excuse to get even more toys.
No, I shit you not. That's exactly what it is. Like I go to the toy store, like, oh, your kid's very, very lucky. I'm like, it ain't for my kid, right? like,
They'll be
right,
like, my child wanted the new Mesco Doctor Doom.
right. But no, it's my kid is totally into that stuff now, which is what I'm raised. I want to raise him into the toy, right? Like I'm going to raise him into this lifestyle. He's here, and as you can see, my basket, I chase all the toys around all the time. So it's
Yeah.
very welcoming
Uh,
here.
I
So
think
I find kids.
I mentioned the guys once in the chat. I mean, in one of our lives that I got so into toys actually that there was one point on which I had to quit buying weed just so I could buy more toys.
So you had to get hostile for a little bit so that you could ask. I
Yeah,
understand this sentiment thoroughly. Right? No, but toys will last longer than weed, right? So there's that. For
yeah, indeed.
the
I mean,
most
besides
part.
that, that's so cool to just have them around. I mean, I have friends sometimes over, and when they come over, they are like, "Dude, what the hell is this? It's so
Yeah,
badass!" And they try to grab my toys, and I just leave it be, dude.
yeah.
Don't touch
Just
my shit.
don't touch my stuff. I understand that. So I try not to let people in because that's what they all want to do.
Oh fuck! I just figure fell down. Sorry, I
Collecting.
said curse words.
No, no worries. Goji Fan 91, collecting equals a very expensive hobby. You are not lying. You are not lying. I
Dude,
love that Spawn.
Goji,
I have that Spawn figure.
Goji. I don't know if you have ever seen him around on Instagram, but Goji has one
Hmm.
of the craziest kaiju collections out
Oh,
there
I
in
know.
Instagram.
I know.
And
Actually, we follow each other. So,
okay, cool,
yeah,
cool,
yeah.
cool.
I
Because
I
sometimes
love.
I would talk with Goji, and we will be like, watching in the Big Bad Toy Store or the toys he gets. He's a lot into the whole SHF Monster Arts,
Mhm.
Haya toys. And when I look at those prices, I go like, nah, man, I'm not stepping into that area, brother.
Yeah, no. Thanos. I let people take toys off my. See, I don't let people in the toy room at my house. You have to go through a whole barrier of getting through the family room and the guest room and all this. So, like, you got to be like pretty tight to get into the toy room. You got to go through a lot of space in my house. But hey, if you're comfortable with people touching, right? My son plays with them. If someone really desperately wanted to, I wouldn't say no, right?
Yeah,
Right? But I'm like, just have some courtesy and respect for the figures, right? So, no,
indeed.
that's it. That's all it is, right? No, they're so cool. What the Camden Riders, the Camden like Kamden, correct?
Yeah, Kamen Rider.
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
There was an American adaptation of a season of Ryuki, and it was Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. Even though it's
okay.
pretty cheesy and it's super corny, it's one of the best Kamen Rider adaptations Americans have ever done, because the other one they did was made by what's the name of the company? The guys that used to make Power Rangers originally. Um, what was the name of that company? I
Not
forget.
Bandai. I don't know why I said Bandai for some reason. I'm thinking
No,
of video
no,
games on it.
it's
I can't
whatever. I
remember.
forget the name, but uh, I had it in the tip of my tongue, and then
Yeah.
it flipped
It's
away.
right there.
Uh,
I'm sure someone in the comments will probably know. Kamen Riders. I got
yeah,
that. There we go.
Saban, that thing, Saban. Yeah. Thank you, Roger.
There,
Thank you,
anime.
Thomas.
Roger that,
Yeah.
Roger.
I call him Roger because that's the way we call him always, Roger.
I know.
But
I know.
the thing is that that adaptation of Kamen Rider that the Americans did first was so horrible, was so
Was it?
bad, so hideous that I shit you not. the Japanese studio that produces Kamen Rider pretty much refused to give Americans for a couple of years any IPs that had to do with Kamen Rider because of what they did. It was so
Oh, really?
horrible. Yeah. And not only that, but they took one of the most dark seasons of Kamen Rider, one of the older ones, Kamen Rider RX, which is the continuation of Kamen Rider Black, which is also a pretty kind of dark story about two brothers that get brainwashed and transformed into villains. But one of them like returns his mind to normal and fights off the evil guys. All the stories about Kamen Rider are like that, super fucked up. There's one about Kamen Rider Fice. It's about teenager suicide in Japan, stuff like
Oh,
that.
damn, eh? Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of like Japanese shows, but I watched one movie made in Japan, and like they have a lot of a more morbid sense when it comes to like stuff like that, right?
I
Like their
mean, I don't
television
know
and
if
stuff. Like, it's a
morbid,
little more
but they're
darker.
more like open about stuff. Like
Yeah, like
they
yeah,
don't
they're it's
they
morbid,
don't
right?
treat
It's a
you like a
morbid
little kid.
conversation, right? Like I know I'm not going to sit here and have a conversation like that with a 6-year-old, but in Japan, it's on their TV. Like it's literally
Yeah,
something that they right. So
that's
I
why they're
mean, and
so
I don't
dark.
know. I could be just talking, right? So
Yeah,
it's so cool, right?
yeah, but Kamen
But
Rider is pretty
Dead
cool.
Man one.
But the thing is, Kamen Rider can be adult, but it's a show that you can actually also watch with your kids because it's
Yeah.
also pretty kid friendly. It's had jokes. It's super corny too. But what I was talking about was that Black RX, that season of Kamen Rider was also kind of dark. But Americans turned it into this story of two brothers getting brainwashed into being villains, to a story about a guy that comes from space and gets adopted by a family and goes to school, and he pretty much fights villains around school with his buddies. And they even
So
gave them like
silly.
a little pet Alf kind of thing that walks
Okay.
around in him. It's horrible.
I feel like it's horrible, but if we all watch it, we gotta watch it. Now I feel
Yeah.
intrigued to go and check out some of these shows so I can just understand how awful some of it is.
No, they're good, they're
Yeah.
funny.
No, I like stuff that is so awful, it's good. Like I actually like some of that. It's so bad, but it was so good at the same time.
Yeah, I am
I,
the kind of guy too. I like to watch movies. I mean, when I talk to people, I'm the kind of dude that people say, "Oh, this guy's a dumbass." When I
yeah.
name my favorite movies, I love RoboCop, Terminator, Predator. That's my favorite
Oh
movies.
yeah.
I don't go the fucking pianist. I don't go the
No.
the Schindler's List and stuff like that. No, man,
Yeah.
I love Cannibal Holocaust. That
Yeah.
movie's pretty
Oh,
good.
I was just saying in my last episode that it took me 2 tries over 10 years to get through that movie,
No,
Cannibal
it's pretty
Holocaust.
gruesome.
Because the
It's
first
pretty
time I
gruesome.
watched it, I got to the part with the turtle, and I was like, "Okay, I'm
Oh
done.
yeah, the one with
I'm
the
done."
monkey.
Yeah, right? I'm done with the turtles. And then it got progressively worse from there. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm so done, right?
Yeah, what's
Um,
fucked up about that movie? Supposedly
crazy.
that scene about the turtle, that was an actual turtle that they.
I know, right? Like I've been researching, and one thing I used to run I did a horror YouTube channel at one point in time, and it was one movie where I'm like, I don't actually want to look into this movie any further, but I had to know because I'm like, it's so real, it's so realistic. Like, how come no one went to prison for any of this stuff? Like, it was crazy. That
Yeah, and
and,
just to go back to something Eddie said, it's actually not
yeah,
that. Yeah, I'm talking about the American Kamen Rider, but Kamen Rider in general, the show, the Japanese one, it's amazing. It's incredible. You won't if you ever watch one, you decide to grab one. I mean, they're normally like a 45 episode long season,
okay,
and I shit you not, I've cried so much watching Kamen Rider, dude. That no, man, this is a beautiful show. It's
yeah.
always super sad, super dramatic. The actors are pretty cool too. The fight scenes is great. I love Kamen Rider.
So it's a Japanese show, yeah. So is it like
Yeah,
is it in Japanese? It's a lot of subbed because
yeah,
it's
you can
subbed
watch it
show.
pretty much in a bunch of places. You can go to toku.fun. It's like a
Hmm.
site, and they dub pretty much every Kamen Rider season for free. You can download it from their site, because the other thing about Kamen Rider of these shows is that Toei is pretty weird about it. That they have acknowledged the fact that they got a bunch of fans outside of Japan, but they have made little to no effort to ever make it accessible for people outside of Japan.
Uh-oh. Alrighty, well, I think we have a little bit of a lag issue, but that's okay. We'll wait a moment. We got to hear more about this show because I don't know much about it. But thank you, everybody, for joining in that is here presently. Of course, it has been a blast. We are going to get JP back in here. He has made it back here.
I don't know why my phone kind of died for a second.
No worries. Luckily, I have the ability to see you on 2 pages, so I have it just in case. So welcome back.
Good. Sorry for that.
No, you're good. It happens. Surprisingly, it happens all the time. Toko cut him off. Cut him off.
The company that produces this shit.
Yeah, that's so fun. I will definitely check out that show. It's something like I don't get to watch a lot of TV, but I'm always interested to see what other people are watching that is not so mainstream. Because like mainstream is mainstream, right?
If you want to start with Kamen Rider, I mean, if you ever want to, take a dip into it, I recommend you watch the anniversary seasons. This is one of those. Like every 10 years. By the way, this show started like ages ago. It's like
70s, the 70s. Yeah.
Last year, it celebrated its 50-year anniversary. So yeah, half a century old series. And this thing you can, if you can pick these shows like they're like every 10 riders, I mean, or years, something like that. They release these guys, the anniversary riders. So they're always pink. Decade was pink. CO was pink, and then you got Revise, which is the 50-year anniversary rider. That's also pink. So that's like a thing they do. But what's cool about these guys? First, if you watch Decade, it's the shortest one. It only had like 32 episodes, and it's like a recap of all the previous seasons up to this one. Because this guy's like a villain that goes around killing the other dudes. And
he looks cool.
Yeah, steals their powers. But he's the main character. And that show had only like 32 episodes because no one liked it. Japanese people hated it.
Really?
And after years passed after it ended, all of a sudden it became one of the most popular seasons of all time. One of the most popular.
Isn't that crazy? Like how things happen. It's always a flop as it's happening, but many moons down the road, it's like, right? It's a stellar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'll check it out because that figure looks cool. And so, who makes that figure again? Sorry, what company is that figure by?
Bandai.
Bandai. Okay, I'm gonna check them out because they're cool. I have it up on my screen, the Kamen Rider information, so I can check it out. I like the photo that they have of like the statue of the Kamen Rider outside of the Bandai corporate studios. They have a statue standing there.
That's the first one. Ichigo.
Yeah, it's very cool looking.
Yeah,
I can't say the name, so I'm like, I don't know what that says. It's in Japanese. It's so cool. No, they're neat, and I'd imagine there'll be many more. So I'd imagine there's also video games for this too. Then, if it's Bandai is known for video games as well.
There are some Kamen Rider games, but they're not really easy to get into because they're not the best, and they're all in Japanese.
Okay,
because, as I said, for some reason, the people that makes this show, I think that as of recently, you could watch Kamen Rider Amazons, you can still watch Kamen Rider Black the original, the remake. That, by the way, Black and Amazons are remakes of really old seasons, but like in a new light and for adults and really gory, gruesome shit.
Make it darker, right?
If you have Amazon, the Amazon, go watch Kamen Rider Black. It's like 10 episodes, and it's a show about racism and discrimination in Japan. That's the whole thing behind the show. You're gonna love it. It's beautifully made, best action scenes ever, gory, adult. It's I
like stuff like that. So I'm all about dark. Right, I'd rather watch a dark, scarier, not even scary, but dark more
Black Sun.
thing
It's called Kamen Rider Black Sun. Black Sun. Yeah.
Black Sun. I'm gonna put it on my screen right now so that I don't lose it. Right.
Remember words. If you actually watch it, you're gonna love it. It's incredible from start to finish.
Yeah, I like to give things a shot, right? So don't really watch
Mhm.
much TV, but I like to go back. I like older stuff too. Like I'm all about vintage shows and TV. It's where I live. It's a genre and an era I wish I was around for, right? Like that older, style of television. So it's something gives me something to do on my days off. Right? Right?
Yeah.
It's like I can never find new things, but I like whenever someone brings something up, I usually go research it a little bit. So or watch it
Hmm.
and check it out. So Blitz Figs is going to start watching it. How about we all need to start watching it?
Yeah, you need to get into Kamen Rider, dude. Right now, here, my brother Eddie, Fig Peaks, there are
Mhm.
guys that I were members of the Toy Mercs, and we all hang around, pretty
Yeah,
cool, chill dudes. They also watch Kamen Rider, they collect Kamen Rider, so we became friends like immediately.
that's all it's about. Sometimes it's just a small group with one obscure thing, which might be obscure to someone like me, but not so obscure to you.
Hmm.
Especially with like a continent difference, like Japanese stuff is probably a little different. I don't know the world and geography too well, guys, but I know that Japan is much further from Canada than right,
Yeah.
right. That's all I'm throwing out there, right? But no, it's cool. Any shout outs since we're doing it? We've looked at some pictures, we got some toys. I know you got some homies in the comment section right now. I know you got some shout outs, some
Yeah,
collab stuff you
it's gonna
like
be
to talk
hard
about.
because normally, if I name people individually, I know I'm gonna forget someone, and they're gonna
Yeah,
get so mad at me, and they're
you
gonna be
can't
like,
remember them all, my dude. You can't remember them all.
but I can. I mean, first of all, I'm gonna give a shout out to Toy Mercs. As
Of
Deadman
course.
said in the chat, we are all Toy Mercs. Even
That's
you,
right.
we're all Toy Mercs.
Yeah, that's
Don't
right.
forget, guys, get on the weekly collab. Then I'm gonna give a shout out to my boys over the Toy Rebels. Of course, they were my first group where I pretty much fell in love with a toy collective. We've been collecting. And then we got the toy photography collective, which, as I
Mhm.
mentioned to you when we were talking, before starting the
Of
show,
course.
it's more than a toy group. It's like as the name implies, a collective of photographers. It's a bunch of people there, and it's for everyone. They're pretty cool people too. And I mean, if I can name the dudes, Goji, Deadman, we got King on the chat, Fake Pigs, who else? Eddie. I'm gonna forget Roger. And they're
All of
gonna
them.
be like, this scumbag
Everybody.
didn't mention my name.
I
I
know it
mean,
sounds like you forgot me. How dare you?
Leo, everyone, all my buddies, they know who they are.
I love this. Does that mean I'm the anime guy? You might be
I'm
the
the
anime
anime
guy.
guy. Yeah, I always say
Anime figure
Roger.
might be the anime guy. Yeah, no, that's great. Great communities. I've got the
Raven.
opportunity to interact
Raven
with
Eye
quite a
Studio
few.
too.
Yeah, right. No, they're everybody like that I've spoken to amongst that realm of folks that are in those communities have been pretty well pleasant, right? So everyone seems to be good. Everyone within the community is great. Like everyone is everything to everybody. Right? But no, I love that.
Muto, I forgot Muto too. Muto there.
Don't
Shit.
see. Look, he's gonna mute you. He's gonna mute you, right?
I know. I gotta forget people.
Right?
Raven Eye Studio, Muto. Who
Yeah,
else?
Raven's cool. Raven's still here. He's cool.
X-Wing Pilot, Triple D, Max Crawford, we got Scadro, everyone.
I know. And everyone shout. Let's see. Let me see. See, I have a number here. I can actually see who we can shout out for. I can actually see who's here. No, it's been a blast. Shout out to everybody again. Just for being here, of course, joining in. Your comments, and of course your tidbits of info from yourself, of course, JP, and for everybody watching is
Thank you.
always
Thank you for
appreciated because
having
then
me.
I
I
can
love.
go learn more stuff too, right? So, thank you for sharing your cool toys because I've never actually seen any of those toys, and I've never even knew what a Kamen Rider?
Kamen
Am I
Rider.
saying
Yeah. Kamen
Kamen
means
Rider is?
you
Until
know.
now, all I know is he looks like a Sectar, which this is a
Nice,
1970.
nice.
Yeah, they're similar. This is
I
a bug.
remember those. I actually
Yeah, so
remember those.
I have a whole bunch of them.
What's the name of the show? Sectors and the
Sectors,
something.
yeah, like the bug that he like rides on. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, I have. They're sectors.
Okay,
They look
don't break
similar,
it.
right?
Cool,
So
cool.
yeah, right. Like little hand puppets
Yeah.
from the 70s and
You're
80s,
gonna
right?
remember
So.
Kamen Rider because Kamen means masked, and that's it. So it's
and
nice
that's
to
with
ride.
Masked Rider.
Yeah, Kamen Rider. You know, it's like
How convenient was that? Right. Thank you guys so much. Is there anything else that you want to put out there before we wrap up our show this evening and we both go get some well-deserved rest?
I don't know, guys. Follow me if you're not following me.
Of course.
If you share my pictures, I'm gonna share yours.
Yep.
Toy Mercs, Toy Rebels.
It's all down here. Hashtags. Hashtags are available across the screen. Everybody there. Toy Mercs. Everybody support everybody. Of course, if you haven't already, go follow JP on Instagram. His information is at the bottom of the
Follow
screen.
Fishing Mama, don't forget.
Right? It's like, if you haven't followed me already, well, fuck you. Right? I'm just kidding. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but that's okay too. Be sure to follow the Collector Sector. Of course, there's nothing wrong over at the sector. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do that because it's just going to be more great conversations and talking shit just like today. So, yeah, no, it's been a blast. Thank you, everyone. You know, Blitz, Toyak popped in, Raven's Eye. I'm probably Doji, all you guys. There's so many of you. Half your names were already said by JP. I'm just trying to catch the other half.
I still forgot a bunch of people.
Right. Thank you guys for stopping in. It is much appreciated. Next week, super excited because we're going to have Blitz Figs on this channel.
Awesome.
Of course, Blitz is a very fun guy, and I can't wait to see if he talks some shit about some shit, or I might bring out some McFarlanes, maybe some new ones, maybe some old.
Right there. I also forgot him. How could I forget good Thanos?
We never forget Blitz and all that. No, don't forget none of them. Blitz next week, and then yeah, I think it's going to be a blast next week. Blitz and I are going to get that figured out, what time it's going to be at. We're both pretty much on the same time frame. But other than that, it was a great show. Thank you so much, JP, for joining me. I will kick us both offline after I say goodbye, and I'll say goodbye to you in the back of the stage, the studio, the backstage. But yeah, it's been a blast, and it's been an honor just to learn, like, even about you off the camera there for a few minutes. So I'll say goodbye to the channel. Of course, I'll see you momentarily in the studio. So I will kick you off. Goodbye, everybody, to JP. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you so very, very soon.
Goodbye.
All right, guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Next week, I do have Blitz Figs joining us. Super stoked because I actually love just communicating and talking with Blitz. He's a great guy. Of course, member of the Pick Bar as well as Lazy Boys, which is on Sunday with Thor and the rest and Green Geek and all them. A whole bunch of y'all and a whole bunch of communities will be here within the next couple of days. So with that being said, I hope you have a kick-ass night. Again, don't forget to sub to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. And of course, just have a kick-ass night and keep doing the things that you love to do. I will see you all so very, very soon. So take care of yourselves. And until next week, be good to each other. And if not, then just do what you got to do. All right. Take care, guys. Have a kick-ass night.